In this video, we are going to learn auto manual reverse forward starter control wiring with limit switch. So let's start video and first see manual operation. First we select the selector switch on manual. When you press forward push button, forward contactor will operate. When you press reverse push button, reverse contactor will operate, and also our contactor will stop with limit switch. Now select the selector switch on auto position. When you press forward push button, forward contactor will operate. This forward contactor will stop with L2 limit switch. Now when you press reverse push button, reverse contactor will operate. Reverse contactor will stop with L1 limit switch. Okay, and also we provide interlocking in this starter. That means when you press forward push button, forward contactor will operate. At same time, if any person press reverse push button, so reverse contactor will not start till we press stop push button. Now same for reverse. If any person press reverse push button, at same time if any person press forward push button, so forward contactor will not operate till we press stop push button. Okay, so in this video we will learn all about this auto manual reverse forward starter control with limit switch. Also we'll learn a connection with this drawing. So let's start video and first see which component is required for this control wiring. So we require two contactor. First is forward contactor, second one is reverse contactor. We connect one overload relay in forward contactor. Okay, and also we connect one auto and manual selector switch. For selecting auto and manual operation, we will learn all about this auto manual selector switch. Okay, and also we have two limit switch. First one is L1 limit switch, second one is L2 limit switch. Okay, when you press forward push button, forward contactor will operate, and if L2 limit switch will operate, so forward contactor will stop. Okay, so L2 limit switch for stopping forward contactor, and this limit switch will stop forward contactor in auto as well as manual operation. Now same for reverse contactor. When you press reverse push button, reverse contactor will operate, and when L1 limit switch operate, so reverse contactor will stop. So L1 limit switch is for only stopping reverse contactor. Okay, and if you want to start your starter in manual operation, so you can run, and for auto operation you need to selector switch on 2 number position. First learn a neutral connection. So neutral connection is very simple. First provide forward contactor neutral with L2 limit switch NC point and reverse contactor neutral to L1 limit switch NC point. It's very simple connection. So first we done neutral connection. So first we connect one neutral connector from MCB and control this neutral connection with both limit switch. Okay, so first we connect one neutral wire in MCB and connect this neutral wire in L2 limit switch NC point. Okay, first see this limit switch, you can see here. In this limit switch we have one NC point which is 11 and 12. You can see here, this is NC point, and this is 13 and 14 is NO point. We need to use only NC point which is 11 and 12. First we connect neutral wire in 12 number point, NC point you can see here, and this L2 limit switch is only stopping for forward contactor. So we connect this neutral wire output and connect a neutral wire to forward contactor A2 terminal. So neutral connect in forward contactor with limit switch. Now we will learn how to provide phase wiring in this contactor. Now for reverse contactor, you can connect a neutral wire from MCB, or you can see here neutral comes here. So we can take supply from L2 limit switch NC input terminal. So you can neutral from MCB, also L2 limit switch NC input terminal. So we connect to one connector from L2 limit switch NC input terminal. Okay, so we connect this neutral wire in L1 limit switch NC input terminal. Okay, now output of this limit switch NC terminal connect in reverse contactor A2 coil. Okay, so forward contactor will stop for L2 limit switch and reverse contactor will stop for L1 limit switch. Now learn a phase control wiring. So we connect a phase first in overload relay, then connect a stop push button NC element. Now output of this stop push button NC element connect in forward push button input terminal and reverse push button input terminal. So we connect this control wiring first. Okay, so we connect phase wire from MCB input terminal and connect overload relay NC terminal 95 number terminal and output of 96 terminal connect to stop push button NC element input terminal. Now output of this NC element connect in forward and reverse push button input terminal. Okay, connection is very simple. So we connect two connector. First is forward push button input terminal. So we connect this wire in forward push button NO element. Now reverse push button NO element. Now when you press forward push button, so forward contactor will operate. When you press reverse push button, so reverse contactor will operate. Now let's learn control wiring. Okay, so for operating forward contactor we use reverse contactor NC terminal because of interlocking. Okay, now when you press reverse push button, so reverse contactor will operate, and for interlocking we use forward contactor NC terminal because of interlocking, because we don't want to operate both contactor at same time. Now this is contactor power terminal, you can see here. This is contactor control terminal, which is NO terminal, and also we have one NC terminal, you can see here in this contactor, and A1 and A2, which is contactor coil point, which we need to provide 220 volt AC supply for operating contactor. First learn forward contactor control wiring. So we connect one connector from forward push button output terminal, and for interlocking we use a reverse contactor NC terminal. Okay, when reverse contactor will stop, then only supply pass. When reverse contactor will start, so this supply will cut. So for operating forward contactor we use reverse contactor NC terminal. Now output of this NC terminal connect in forward contactor A1 terminal. Okay, so forward contactor will run only when reverse contactor will stop. Okay, now same for reverse contactor, we connect one connector in reverse push button, connect this connector to forward contactor NC terminal. Okay, now reverse contactor only run when forward contactor is stop. So output of this NC terminal connect in reverse contactor A1 coil. Okay, so this connection is done only for interlocking because we don't want to operate both contactor at same time. Now see manual operation how starter works. So power is on. When you press forward push button, so forward contactor will operate just only for when you press push button. When you press reverse push button, so reverse contactor will operate. And also in manual operation, when you press forward push button and limit switch is operate, so your contactor should stop, because in some time if push button is not working or NO element not working, so your motor cross this limit switch. So we provide this connection for only safety purpose. If push button not working, so your starter will stop with limit switch. Now let's learn auto operation. Okay, so for auto operation, first we learn auto manual selector switch working. You can see here one number point. One number point is common terminal. When selector switch on one number terminal, so one supply comes in this A1 terminal. When you select a selector switch on 0 number position, so power is off. When you select a selector switch on 2 number position, so one number common supply comes in this A2 terminal. Okay, so for auto operation we will use A2 terminal. Okay, now for auto operation you can connect connector from NC output terminal or NO input terminal. Okay, so we connect one connector from a stop push button NC output terminal and connect this connector to common terminal, which is one number point. So we connect this connector to auto manual selector switch common point. Okay, now for 2 number position we use auto operation. Okay, so we use A2 terminal. Okay, and also we have 2 contactor forward and reverse, so we connected 2 connector. Okay, you can see here, because we need to provide a holding supply in both contactor, so we connected 2 connector. Now first say drawing, A2 output terminal connect in forward contactor NO terminal and also reverse contactor NO terminal. Okay, when push button press and forward contactor start, so connect one connector from coil, you can see here. Now when forward push button press, forward contactor start, so this NO makes ANC and holding supply comes here, and forward contactor will hold. Same for reverse contactor, reverse push button press, reverse contactor start, this NO makes ANC and holding supply comes in this reverse contactor coil, so your contactor will hold. So we connect one connector from selector switch output terminal to forward and reverse contactor NO terminal, you can see here. And because for holding we will connect one connector from NO output to contactor coil A1 terminal. So first we connect in forward contactor A1 terminal and connect this connector to contactor NO terminal, you can see here, just because for holding. So in reverse contactor same, first we connect one connector in A1 terminal and connect in contactor NO terminal. Now connection is done. First say manual operation. When you press forward push button, forward contactor will operate, and when you press reverse push button, reverse contactor will operate. When you press forward push button and limit switch will operate, so your forward contactor will stop. Same operation for reverse push button and reverse contactor. Now let's learn auto operation. First we select a selector switch on 2 number position. When you press forward push button, forward contactor will operate. At same time if limit switch operate, so your contactor will stop. Same operation for reverse contactor, you can see. When you press reverse push button, so reverse contactor will operate and stop with L1 limit switch. Okay, and also we provide interlocking with both contactor. When you press reverse push button or forward push button at same time, if any person press other push button, so your contactor will not start till you press stop push button. Okay, this connection is done for only safety purpose. Okay, if you press both push button at same time, so maybe short circuit will happen. So for safety purpose we provide interlocking in both contactor. So by using this connection you can run auto manual reverse forward starter control wiring with limit switch, and your motor starter will stop with limit switch and auto as well as manual operation. So hope you clear the concept of this auto manual reverse forward starter control with limit switch. If you like this video, please press like button. If you have any query, please ask in comments box. For today is enough. We'll meet next video. Thanks for watching.